And welcome back to my channel, Duct Tape Mechanic. In this video, I'm going to show you two different ways you can fix a Whirlpool or Maytag washing machine that is continuously dripping water into the tub even after the cycle. So if you find this video to be helpful, make sure you subscribe to my channel for more DIY and tinkering videos. Alright, so even though I said a Whirlpool or Maytag, this video is going to be applicable to pretty much any sort of washing machine that has these 6 LED lights followed by a start pause button. So it could be a Maytag, Whirlpool, Amana, Kenmore, you name it. So basically what's happening is that the water valves are continuing to drip water into the tub even after the cycle when we're not running any clothes. So this is a little bit more of a subtle issue, but you will definitely notice it if you leave your clothes in the tub. Even after the cycle has finished, they will be a little bit more damp than usual because the water just continues to drip, as you can see there a little bit. This was not as bad as some of the other ones that I've seen, but basically there's two different ways you could fix this issue, and I'm going to try to cover them both. So let's get to it. All right, so the first thing we'll have to do is make sure we pull the power supply cord over here and also disconnect the water intake hoses. After that, we'll be popping up the panel right here. Now, depending on what model you have, sometimes there's a screw that you have to undo back here. On this particular one, there's no screw. There's just two clips that we're going to have to undo. The clips are about 2 inches from the edge. We're just going to stick a putty knife in there, and when you stick it in there, you'll be able to feel the clip, and we'll just kind of flip it up as soon as it gets unclipped. And I'll kind of show you what that looks like next. All right, let's undo the clips. So they're about right there. You got to push at the same time, kind of flip it backwards, like that, or flip it up, I should say. We'll do the other side as well. All right, to resolve this issue, like I said, there's two different ways. The one that you could do if you're, the fail-safe one, I should say, is just replace these valves. Now, they're not that expensive, maybe 30 bucks or so, and that's what I'll show you how to do first. And to replace it is really simple. All you got to do is find where it's connected into the control board, which is right here. And once you've disconnected from the control board, there's just two screws that hold the valve in place, and it'll come right out. I can link the part number to these because they're pretty much standard for all the machines. There's just two different types of them. You just got to make sure you have the one with the correct connector. There's this sort of connector, then there's a flat type of connector. And yeah, so if you replace the valves, it'll solve that issue, no doubt. And in the second part, what I'm going to show you, or the second way to solve it, I should say, is to disassemble the valves, clean them up internally, then reassemble it and see if that solves that drip issue. So to remove the valves, you will need a T20 Torx bit. So these are quite handy. I got them from Harbor Freight many years ago. All right, so with the screws undone, all you gotta do is just pull out the valve, and there it goes. Easy peasy to replace, and like I said, it'll solve this issue. All right, so let's say you don't want to replace them, or you're in a pinch and you can't find the part, or you just don't want to spend the money and you want to try to fix the actual issue. Well, what you have to do is you'll have to disassemble the valve, the solenoid valves for both the cold and the hot, unless you know for sure it's just the cold that's dripping. You can kind of figure that out by turning off the hot and seeing which one drips, then turning off the cold and seeing if the hot drips. But anyways, or you could just do it to both, just to be safe. What I mean by disassembling is going ahead and just taking off the plug for the solenoid right here. And this thing pretty much comes off fairly easily. All right, so once we have the plug undone, what we're going to do is we're going to stick a flat blade screwdriver underneath the solenoid. The solenoid is essentially just a bunch of wire that's wound up, and when the 120 volts is sent to that wire, it creates a magnet which pretty much sends a plunger up and down, and that'll close or open the valve. And that's all a solenoid valve is. All right, so we're just gonna stick the screwdriver in there and just gently pry up. You do want to make sure you're aware of the orientation that the solenoid's sitting in. As you can see, it really only goes one way, but we just want to get our screwdriver kind of under there. And what we're going to do is now I like to get kind of a paper towel around the stem right here of the valve, and we're just going to give it a quarter or a half a turn with my needle nose pliers. So now we're just going to unthread it like so. There we go. So the valve stem is out, and basically this is the plunger right here that gets moved up and down when the solenoid, this part, has electricity pass through it. So basically, and what happens is there's often just buildup and crud that builds up on the seal right here, and it doesn't seal properly. So you get some the water just bypasses, and it just continues to drip regardless of whether you're running a cycle or not. So what I like to do is I just like to take off everything and just clean it up. Maybe use some water to back flush everything, and then just reassemble it and see if it works. I'll also take this piece out as well. Then just take like a spray bottle or something like so and just clean up everything. Okay. All right, so it looks like everything is cleaned. So let's say you just forgot how everything goes. I'll just reassemble it with you real quick. So we've got the valve stem right here. The spring goes inside there. And here is the plunger. That's the cause of the leak. Nice and clean. And we just drop that in there. And then we have this seal as well. That just goes on top of the valve right there. The valve stem, I should say. And there we go. So then after that, we're just gonna stick it back inside of the rest of the valve body. And turn it, once we get it sealed, we'll turn it clockwise. Let's see if I can't get that. All right, before we install the core of the solenoid, I do have to come up here and just kind of expand these out a little bit, so that way, because this is what kind of retains the solenoid body or the core, so it just clips into place like it should, so it's nice and expanded out, as you can see right there. And now we're just going to make sure we're orienting it the correct way. All right, so let's reinstall either your new valves or the valves you repaired. As I said, the repair is more experimental. If you want to do it, that's fine. But don't blame me if it fails. I have had success with it, and I know of others who have used it and have had a lot of success with it. So, but I do have to kind of throw that warning out there. But to install it, pretty much you just kind of pop it into place right here, and then just screw down the screws into the holes down here, and that's it. So after you got the 2 screws in, don't forget to plug in the connector into the control board there. There's really only one way or one direction it's going to go. Then after that, you can just go ahead and just pop the panel back in, and hopefully that solves your issue. And if it does, make sure you hit the thumbs up sign.